listening to Thoughtless Casual Gaming with Brett and Jace. We are a Geelong-based gaming podcast where we play games badly and then talk shit about them. And I do know it's been over a month since our last episode.
Sounds like confession.
Yeah, apologies for that. Apparently sleep is not an overrated thing. But did you know, Jace, that we have been doing this podcast for over 5 years now?
Fuck me, you would get less for some pretty heinous crimes.
And anyone that's been listening for 5 years, shame on you. But this is episode 121, and we have had nearly 11,500 downloads.
That is terrifying. How many times have I downloaded? No, not quite that many.
Is it zero?
It's probably close to zero.
Anyway, last weekend? Was it last weekend? It was, wasn't it?
It was a weekend. It was last. It
Yes.
was both those things.
Last weekend, we held Thoughtless Bowl 6, which incidentally was our 10th tournament that we've done in 5 years.
So aptly named. I think my favourite quote out of all that was just Geelong counting.
So we've done 6 Thoughtless Bowls. We've done 3 Why So Serious, but the first one was actually counted as Thoughtless
Also,
Bowl 3.
yes, we've counted that twice. It's
So it's 8.
The naming convention was not. It's evolved. It's a fluid and ongoing thing that chooses not to define itself by your binary stereotypes.
Yeah, shame on you. Shame on you for even considering pigeonholing that. One training day. And
we had that.
Yep, one all systems go.
That was also a thing.
It was.
So many things happened.
You'd think that given this is our 10th tournament, that we'd be good at it.
No.
No, not the case.
Yeah. Just doing something. I mean, this comes to my standard sort of response when talking to people about their resume. When they say, but I have 15 years experience in a thing. I'm like, you could have sucked for every single one of years. Like, let's talk about why you were actually good. And we cannot.
No, just because we've done 10 doesn't mean we're any good, as last weekend was living proof. But we had a number of people brave the Thoughtless tournament scene.
And it look, I thought you were going to say the cold, because it was a bit nipply.
Yeah, it was. It's been worse since, but it was. But, you gather 25 different gamers into a room. The cold doesn't last.
It warms up quickly. Once the keys are in the bowl, it's all good.
Anyway, we had a number of people join us for our 10th event. Do you want to give a bit of a breakdown of the teams?
Yes, and the quick disclaimer, this math is my math, so probably Geelong math. It was also based on the rosters received and the people who intended to play, knowing full well in every single event I have either attended or run since the beginning of time, something happened to somebody on the day and they're just like, guess what? I've just been attacked by flesh-eating bacteria. Regards. So, couple of less teams than this, but we had a pretty big mix with some notable favourites. Skaven, Norse, Necromantic Horror, Humans, and Black Orcs all had 3 people playing them, or 3 teams represented.
Necro's a bit of a surprise there. You usually see 1 or 2, but it's not usually the favourite.
No, I mean, they're still the best of the undead. I get it.
Oh,
but
yes.
How
many shambling undead teams did we have, James?
We had a whole lot of none.
Yeah.
And even fewer Tomb Kings.
Yes. Also fair. So Necro holds up.
Necro, yeah, look, and they do relatively well. Humans, fair, solid, all-rounder, vanilla is the finest of the flavours.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Yeah.
Skaven, gutter runners,
Totally get that one.
fair. Norse, an entire team of block.
Mm-hmm.
Also rock solid. The surprise, I think, for me was, apart from Necro, was Black Orcs.
See, yeah, Black Orcs, they're a solid team, though. But it's, they come in the box, which is great for new players.
I think that's why, if I'm honest.
But also, it's not one you expect. A lot of players will play Black Orcs and then move on and taste new flavors of Blood Bowl.
Yeah, I will say Black Orcs are mildly intriguing at the moment, only because, firstly, so many new players do pick them up as their first team. Comes in the box, straightforward to play. And they seem to be one of those teams that are very middling. Like, you don't hear about how broken Black Orcs are, ever.
No.
So I feel like it would take a lot of playing to play them really well. And that also feels like almost a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, one more thing, one day when maybe that's something I need to consider.
I still think that ignoring or even taking into account animosity, I think Orcs are probably the stronger team.
Absolutely. And I completely understand the difference in the control playing and things like that. I also think it's a team that I looked at when they first came out and did the very generic, but Lizardmen do this faster. Mm-hmm. And have kind of ignored them. But given that so many new players do come along and play them for their first team or so, I almost feel like it's worth doing a little bit of a deep dive into Black Orcs myself. So, I can talk to them about what they're doing, but you don't have that kind of inherent, you should grab here to do this, and here's a way to set up a thing, and all of that kind of stuff. It's kind of generic Blood Bowl, and I feel like a little bit of a deep dive might be fun given how many people join in with Black Orcs as their first hive. If you can give them a little bit more than the general Blood Bowl 101.
Agreed. So with Grab and with Brawler in particular, they're not the most obvious of skills. No. When and where and how to use them. So that's probably not a bad idea for a future.
That's another day. Anyway,
not today.
They were our most. No, we've got other stuff. So they were our most taken. On the twos, we had Chaos Chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And some interesting choices there. Elven Union.
Yep.
2 of them, 2 lizards. Is that all? I think that's all of the twos.
That's all of the twos.
And then a smattering of vampires, Old World Alliance, orcs, Nurgle, Imperial Nobility, goblins, Amazons, and ogres. There was stuff.
Yeah. No, it was a good mix. The good old pie chart you did has many colours.
Yeah, there's lots.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hit that kind of. I think that ended up being 29 rosters I received.
Mm-hmm.
That we worked through. I was trying to work out if there were notable exceptions. I mean,
none that spring to mind.
It was interesting for me that Elven Union were the elves of choice in a world.
That's true.
In a world with dark elves.
We don't tend to see an awful lot of dark elves at our tournaments.
No, which is weird. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 3 Norse to 1 Amazon, because I always pair them together, was an interesting breakdown.
1 vampire?
Only 1 vampire, but in a world where you're not allowed to take pro. Probably fair.
Yeah, true. We do put these rules in place, don't we?
I know, we do that. Very few stunties.
Yes, that's the other thing I noticed, though. No halflings, no gnomes, even though gnomes took it last year.
I'm still unsure how, if I'm honest.
No, it was like 27 desperate measures, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we kind of screwed with that as well.
Yep. So
okay, we've done this to ourselves.
Yeah, it was a stock standard sevens tournament that we ran. The only differences are that, we gave a certain amount of cash per tier, and you could buy skills. You couldn't buy pro or leader, I
Correct.
believe.
Those both of
And
those.
yeah,
And then so it was maximum one of each skill, maximum one skill on every player. And then for other inducements, every time you took a second instance of the same inducement, it cost you an additional 10k.
Yeah.
And that is just to stop 5 desperate measures and a bunch of linemen.
Yeah. So we have seen in the past quite a number of desperate measures. And as good as they can be, like some of them are fantastic. They can turn the tide of a game pretty quickly. And, you know, it's also the whole sitting there and rolling them up before each game and a bit of admin.
And look, there's the admin piece, and then there is the fun piece. And anecdotally, there has been teams that have been played that have been less fun to play against because fundamentally it's not about what you do on the pitch. It's about which desperate measures they roll and the fact that you have no say about it.
Yeah, correct. So, what else have we got? We've got skills. You've got a bit of a skill breakdown.
We do have a little bit of a skill breakdown, of which there were several. Actually a really big mix of skills taken by lots of people, noting that some people chose to take like one skill and some people chose to take, actually the most was, I wonder if I've got to count 7. There are a couple of people that took 7 skills across their team, which at primaries 20k a piece, that is chunky. 0 surprises with the top skill by a whopping there are 24 instances of people taking block. Who would have thought?
Fumble risky, I would have put my money on.
Right, there are so many skills that you could have taken, but people chose block.
No.
There's a thought here about tiering skills, not tiering teams. But anyway, the next few guard was the next highest, 14. And then wrestle and sure hands. And then we start getting into the juicy ones: kick, tackle, dodge, mighty blow. Only 6 dodges.
That surprises me. So we have a number of agility type teams here.
And I think, all of the Amazons come with dodge, so you don't need those.
No.
And it's 1 per team, so that's 6 teams that took dodge.
So that's like, quarter of them.
Yeah. All the lizardmen that count have dodge. The ghouls have dodge on Necro. Like there's...
That's true.
Skaven, the gutter runners have dodge, never bothering with that. So, look, it probably makes sense given the makeup of the teams we saw.
Yeah, I'll pay that.
But you can never have too much block, so that's fair.
What were the least taken skills
taken? The least taken skills that were taken, and there were a bunch that people took ones of. Brawler. Not on a Black Hawk, who would have thought? Claw. There was 1 Claw. There was 1 Dauntless. Somebody made themselves a Slayer. 1 Dirty Player. 1 Diving Tackle, which is an underrated skill. It's hard to justify paying for.
But when you have it, it comes in handy.
And it's such a tricky one to play against. Juggernaut.
Yep.
Nerves of Steel. Yeah, fair. On the Ball.
Yep.
Sure. Pass. Only 1 pass.
A lot of these ones would come with it, wouldn't it? The Elven Union Thrower, does that have pass?
Probably.
Yeah, Skaven one definitely does.
Yeah, the humans do. The Amazons would. Yeah, I don't know. I could go look, but I'm not going to. Sneaky Git. Sprint. 1 sprint. 1 strong arm. Somebody was throwing something. 1 sure feet. I know where that was. That was a great choice. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And 1 2 heads.
Yep. Yeah, it checks out.
Yeah. So,
No Fumblerooski.
no Fumblerooski. I was trying to work out if there's anything I expected to see people take that I didn't get taken at all, but actually it's kind of
What you'd expect.
Yeah. Did I see? No, there is some extra arms in there. Yeah. It's kind of hard to go past the classics sometimes.
No, not at all.
So that was skills. And then if we have a look at a couple of other things that people were interested in, there were a total of, out of the 29 teams, 13 big guys taken. Yep. 3 of those were in an ogre team, so that doesn't,
So
that is
10 teams. So a third with a big guy.
Yeah. There were 3 rerolls kicking around.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a total of 6 desperate measures.
So that extra 10K has obviously affected that because, we would have seen at least one team with 5, I'm sure.
And the most that anyone took was 2.
Yep.
There was some commentary about clearly we prefer people to take skills than desperate measures. I'm saying no, but I also think that you do get this real economy of scale when you start taking multiple desperate measures because you start being able to re-roll them and you get more likely to get the good ones.
Yes.
And so it feels like people might take 1 for funsies, apparently might take 2 for funsies, but if you can't take a bunch of them, start seeing the value.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, you grab yourself 4 desperate measures, you have 50% chance of getting, your wizard, your set piece, your banana skin. And they're paying for themselves at that point, unless there's a tax on them.
Correct.
So,
and we had a tax, and look what happened. People avoided tax. You tax-dodging bastards.
That's not the time of the year to do that.
No. But big mix of, as I said, there were a bunch of teams that had 1 skill.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most we saw was 7 on a couple of teams, with a real mix of, again, the classics, the shorthand, tackle, block, kick. But this is where you can fit in your kick and your strip ball and your the extra, those kind of other couple of ones.
I love kick as a skill. It's just so good.
It's glorious. In a world where this, I also think in 7s, stuff like tackle, stuff like strip ball, so good. Just being able to reliably sack a ball carrier, even wrestle, arguably sometimes better than block because at least you can sack the ball. There's shit all someone can do about it, really.
No, absolutely. Speaking of kick, I think we had at least one person there. I think it was, trying to remember. I mean, it's a week ago, so but I think it was Yelv who called me across, and he's like, "With kick, do you round down?" And I'm like, "Yes." He goes, "So if you roll a 1, it becomes a 0." And I'm so, yeah, I said yes. He's like, "Oh." So he might be more interested in kick.
He was very interested in kick after that conversation. He's like, I learned something this weekend.
And it's a good thing to learn because it's not what you'd think.
No, you assume it's always going to move at least one square, but being able to land it literally on the point, it's kind of glorious.
Such a good skill. Any other stats you want to give us before we have a look at what happened?
I don't have the number, but the other thing I really, really liked seeing was the amount of people who played that I had not seen play before at one of our events. I don't have an exact number, but there was a number of names I did not know. And it was wonderful. I got to meet new people. I got to heckle more games. It was excellent.
We had a bit of a troop in from the Westgate guys.
Oh, and huge shout out to Lee and Ant for really, putting the hard word on some people.
Yeah.
By all accounts, it sounded like they put the hard word on some people. But it was great seeing a bunch of them come down and roll some dice and hopefully have a good time.
Well, I saw some very good feedback on the Facebook page afterwards, which is, I mean, I suppose it's surprising knowing us, but Matt, glad to have played and had a chance to participate with such a welcoming crew for my first Blood Bowl event. Thanks, Thoughtless Casual Gaming, for putting together an awesome day. And Ryland, congrats to the prize winners and thanks for running, boys. Seamless event was good fun today. They're obviously both sucking up, but
yeah, fair. But I'll take it.
Oh,
I'm going to start using quotes in advertising. I think future events is what's going to happen here.
Not quite shit, quote unquote.
Perfect.
We should do that.
I'm absolutely going to do that.
All right, good.
So,
all right. Shall we get
kind of what rolled into? I think, the other thing is, there were quite a few people, or at least a few people playing their first event, which was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I was super pumped to see some of that. But otherwise, get into it.
Excellent. So we ended with 26 players on the day. So we will go backwards. So 26 was Pip playing Nurgle with 11 points.
Who, to be fair, played one game and had to bail.
Exactly. So he had a 1-1 draw in round 1 and then left. Came for one game and then left, which was lovely of him to do.
Yeah.
And beautiful Nurgle team.
Oh, so good.
Nothing like a good Nurgle team.
There is nothing.
Correct. 25th, Lachlan playing Black Orcs with 13 points. Now,
yes, 13 points. Yes, like the lowest ranked full game player. But my God, every single one of those games looked like an absolute blast.
I think we call it out now too. Lachlan was our best opponent for the day, getting 3 out of 4 votes for his opponents. And every time I overheard him, he sounded like he was having a ball and having fun, and which is, admittedly very hard to do when you're not scoring and winning and all the rest of it. But we had questions about whether people could vote for Lachlan as best opponent, even though they didn't play him.
Yeah, there were a couple of people who kind of spectated a couple of games that went, that was the best to watch, just because of the spirit in which it was played. So yeah, huge shout out.
Yeah,
New played his first league this most recent season for us, and has been an absolute hoot to have around. So shout out.
Well done, Lachlan. And yeah, first tournament for him. 24th, we had yourself, Jace. Ogres, 14 points.
So close. I, again, played one game and then Pip dropped out, and I then dropped out to make us even numbers.
Yep.
But it was excellent. I got to kick a teammate into an end zone. It was the best.
And that was the goal for the day.
That was it.
Excellent. Achieved in round 1. That's good. 23rd, Glenn with Black Orcs, 24 points. Now, Glenn's Black Orcs, we run every tournament, we run a Coolest Team Award, which is voted for at lunchtime by everyone there. They choose 3 people that they like the look of their team for whatever reason. It's totally up to you as to what you define cool as being. The person you vote for first will get 3 points. The person you vote for second will get 2, and third will get 1. We had a draw for second for Coolest Team with 2 teams on 18 points, and Glenn with his Black Orcs on Squigs slightly ahead on 44 points. So over doubled everybody else.
Cheeky fucker.
They were beautiful.
They were gorgeous. And look, it was fun. So Glenn came down for the weekend from Sydney. We caught up. I taught him how to play Blood Bowl on Friday, and then he came along on Saturday. So that was super fun. But he'd been painting the Black Orcs up. I'd seen sort of progress shots and stuff, and it was fun because the team is basically squig riders. So all the Black Orcs were goblins that were on squigs, and then there was a big squig that was the troll, and then there were just goblins kicking around. When I very first met Glenn, when I very first knew he was sort of getting into wargaming and stuff, he was painting an Empire army, and he painted stripes on the entire fucking Empire army. And so the running joke here is I saw him painting Black Orcs, and I saw him painting stripes onto his Black Orcs, onto all the goblin uniforms. I'm like, you haven't stopped. Like, you started this like 20 years ago and you haven't stopped.
It's an addiction.
Yeah. It's like I thought they needed sports uniforms, so I gave them all stripes. Like,
yeah, I don't think I've painted stripes on anything.
It's a lot of effort. But they were very pretty. And then he made himself a little sort of carry case versus / display board. Yeah. Cheeky fucker.
Yeah, they were beautiful. Yeah, the only model I have with stripes on it is my referee model from Why So Serious. And I painted that shirt white. And then I drew on this with texture. I'm like, I'm not painting black stripes. All right, ignoring that. 22nd, Taylor with Lizardman on 25 points. 21st, Cody, Black Orcs, 26 points. That's our 3 Black Orc players.
I was just about to reflect on exactly that.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame. I do like the Black Orcs as a team, but...
I'm going to have to try them somewhere and just see.
Yeah. 20th, Josh with Necromantic, 27 points. 19th was Lane with Chaos Chosen, 28 points. He looked like he was having fun too.
And what was super fun, like, so Lane came down with Dad, Ryland, and I've got the right person, don't I?
You do.
Great. But they came down together, so it was father and son duo, and they got to play in the last game against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
Dad did not go easy.
No, he was. That was a rough game. Like, that is like staying up all night. I like trying to play Mario Kart just so you can destroy your children type behavior. And I fully endorse it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they're never going to never going to learn how to lose if you don't smack them around a bit. But yeah, he looked like he was having a fun tournament. There was one game, I think it was against Josh. I wandered over and he goes, I'm playing 5s, because he had 2 people in the injury box. But I managed to go back to him fairly quickly and say, you're not the only person playing 5s right now. But no, he looked like he was having fun. 18th, Moose, Humans, 28 points. So 28 points for Moose and Lane. In these, I've gone down to touchdown differential. I think that's decent as a tiebreaker.
Yeah, first count back.
Yeah, equal 18th, let's say, for both of those. 17th, Brad, Lizardman, 38 points. 16th, Ryland, Humans, 47 points. 15th, Archie with Norse and 49 points. As well as 14th, Dylan, Elven Union, 49 points. 13th, Tim, Necromantic, 50 points. And 12th was Yelv with Humans and 50 points. You can see a theme going here. Some very, very close calls as far as the placing goes. 11th, James, Old World Alliance, 53 points. And 10th, Clinton, Norse with 53 points. Here's where it gets fun. 9th, Matt, Imperial Nobility, 60 points. 8th, Lee, Amazons, 60 points. 7th, Patrick Ork, 60 points. 6th was Aaron with Skaven with 61 points. He was playing on the top table in the final round. 5th, I'm going to get this wrong again. Mylan. No, I'm going to get that right. Thank you. Apologies, Mylan. I got his name wrong 3,000 times during the day. Necromantic, 66 points. 4th was Liam with Skaven, 73 points. Now, this was the closest tournament we have ever had, because between 1st and 3rd, there was a grand total of 1 point difference. So 3rd on 82 points was Ant with Elven Union. 1st and 2nd, again, comes down to touchdown differential. If we go just straight touchdowns, the result's the same anyway. 2nd was Adrian playing Chaos Chosen on 83 points. And he was playing all Beastmen.
It was a glorious team, really.
Oh, it was so
actually
good.
Let's do the results, and then let's go back and reflect on a couple of those teams, because I have things to say about a couple.
All right. And then first, playing Goblins, 83 points, Chad.
What the actual fuck, firstly?
Yes, I think he had the same response, though.
He absolutely did.
Going between, I'll just do a couple more stats before we discuss teams and stuff. So Adrian and Chad both had casualty differential of 2. So they did 2 more casualties than they received. Chad had a touchdown differential of 4 as opposed to Adrian's 3. Chad scored 8 touchdowns throughout the game, throughout the event. Okay. To 6 for Adrian. But had Ant gotten 1 more point in that last game, Ant's touchdown differential was 4, and casualty differential was 2 as well.
Bloody hell.
He had scored 9 touchdowns throughout the game, throughout the event, so it was so close.
I'm just glad we have very rigorous count back.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, yeah, this is why I sit at the desk all day and enter stuff, and we talked about it, and I think we talked about it during the day, going, do we need to do this sort of thing? And, yeah, just in case of, tires and stuff like that. And yeah, it turned into ridiculous stats.
That is so tight. And I still Chad Goblins. I mean,
So in round 4, we had, here we go, I'm just putting this up. Adrian's Chaos Chosen against Aaron's Skaven.
Mm-hmm.
So Adrian went up 2-1 on that one. We had Ant, his Elven Union, went 2-1 against Patrick's Orcs.
Yeah.
And then Chad went 2-1 over Matt's Imperial Nobility.
And that was effectively the 3rd table.
Mm-hmm.
And he leapfrogged the first 2 tables.
Just by 1 point. Because, he had... because they all scored 2-1. So there was no points for perfect defense. They were each getting 2 points for their touchdowns. Adrian and Ant both came away with 2 casualties scored, and Chad had 3. And that put him even.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That is savage, and I love it.
Such a close day. And I think that speaks volumes for, the quality of players
Mm.
that we had.
And look, I really enjoy the fact that, yes, there is an option for us to pull out an entire final rankings and separate everybody. But again, there are just clumps of super tight groups, which, potentially just calling out the final rankings doesn't necessarily speak to. But there was just this, right under that top group that was super. There was another little group that sat, on that. It was anyway. There was so many people that could have won the event in the last round, and that was what was exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any one of those top 6 players on the top 3 tables could have walked away with it. Table 4 was Liam versus Clinton, so Liam ended up 10 points behind in the end. So it's the top 3 tables, but any one of them, because I think there was only like maybe 2 points, I'm trying to remember on the day, between all 6 of them. 2 or 3 points between all 6 of them.
Glorious. And I also don't know that they were aware of just how tight it was. So it was good just watch it. And then there was this kind of momentary surprise when everything was announced. Bloody hell. You wouldn't expect it.
No.
So, a couple of things on a few of those top teams. If we go back to Ant in 3rd place with the Elven Union, I have been nagging him incessantly for the past however long to take 2 catches instead of 2 blitzes.
And was that what he did?
So, and in this little roster here was the first time he's like, no, I'll do it. I'll try the 2 catches and 1 blitzer as opposed to the other way around. All I'm saying, I'm not saying it was my fault, but I'm saying finally takes the advice and this is what happens.
Oh, dear, you're going to take some credit this podcast, aren't you?
Oh, I feel like there's part credit and then there's part apology because, I mean, I really liked Adrian's list too in the second spot. I had nothing to do with it, but literally nothing but goats.
The goat squad.
All of them with skills, like almost all of them. I think there's maybe one that didn't, but he was one of the 7 skilled options, I think. Yeah. There was a block goat, a wrestle goat, a guard goat, a strip ball goat. He was a tackle goat. He was hitting some stuff.
Yep.
At strength 4 probably, and then a 2 head goat and a sure hands goat.
I mean, that's the thing when you've got 7 players all. You get to choose which is your strength 4 each turn.
Mm-hmm.
You're not stuck with a Black Orc that's, miles away from anyone.
No. All decent movement, all decent armor, all okay edge. Like, you can do anything with all of them. And then you've got the option to go, right, well, I can hit you with this one. He had a guard goat, so he was probably hitting with 2 dice a lot of the time anyway. He had a sure hands guy to pick up the ball and hand it to the 2 head guy to dodge away. Like, a lot of skills to remember, and who's who in the zoo is a little bit tricky, and that's a little bit fun. I wonder if it was a petting zoo, given that were goats. But, yeah, clever. I liked it.
Very cool.
And then we come back to the shambles of the unfortunate event that led up to the goblins. So, Seaview, our usual Tuesday gaming night, Chad sidles up to me and goes, "What's the deal with rosters for this tournament?" And I'm like, "Well, you've got to get them to me. Like, decide what you want to play and then send me a roster the week before." He's like, "Oh, yeah, but look, I'm moving house and everything's in boxes and I can't be fucked. Can you just write me a list and then tell me on the day what I'm playing? I'll bring humans, I'll bring goblins, and the humans can also be slammed. They're your choices."
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring them all, and you tell me what I'm playing on the day. We'll find out with my opponent game one.
That is such a Chad thing to do too.
I laboured on work time. There would have been easily 14 or 15 iterations of this list. Pretty quickly settled on goblins.
Fair.
And I think this is just the funsies one to run. He's clearly here for funsies because he's letting me write his list. And I went, okay, do I ruin his day? And there were options that just had goblins. There was one that had a Doom Diver but no trolls. There was a lot of silliness. And in the end, I went, I'm here for some silly, but also I don't want him to show up and have a terrible day. Like, that would suck. If he shows up with 7 goblins, no skills, and a bunch of kegs or something, I don't know. I just pour all the inducements into trash. No one's having fun.
No.
So we ended up with what I thought was a subpar goblin roster. And it had a troll. Right, yeah, but trolls are kind of dumb, and I only give him 1. That's fine. And you've got to give him something that doesn't suck. So you have to put a chainsaw in. Chainsaws are chaos, and chainsaws neck themselves. That's fine. Let's give him dodge for extra chaos. The bomber's ridiculous, and he'll get sent off. So we'll give him pass, but then he'll die, or he'll get sent off. Mm-hmm. And then, you know what you don't see enough of in sevens is the fanatic.
Yep.
And so absolutely, let's put a fanatic in, because there's nothing says like random movement with 6 squares between you and your opponent as you know, a real tactical maneuver. Let's make it more risk and reward. Let's give him sure feet.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
See what you've done.
Go for it here. Go for it. You chuck in a desperate measure. You chuck in a couple of bribes. That's your that's your roster. It was pretty vanilla-y, goblin-y, but it wasn't very good, but it wasn't the worst I could possibly come up with. And I thought it would be very middling and very...
I mean, it sounds like a fun roster.
This is the intention.
I know the chainsaw did chainsaw things.
Mm.
I remember the fanatic having a lot of fun against the Imperial Nobility Fend. But Chad knows his goblins.
He does.
He's no newbie to the goblin team. But I don't think anyone expected him to walk away with it.
No. I mean, him included.
Him included, absolutely not. And I love the fact that our last 2 Thoughtless Bowls have both gone to stunty teams.
Mm. Yeah, watch people just dive onto halflings now.
Yes. So it's been done with gnomes. It's been done with goblins. Halflings, snotlings. Ogres, technically. But
yeah, someone will show up with nothing but skinks.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll happen too. Just going way back.
Back in a time. You trying to work out whether any other stunty teams have won?
It was Dwarf and Thoughtless Bowl 4.
What the actual fuck are we doing with this? We are just breaking the game.
I'm not even going to bother looking at the Why So Serious ones that I've got.
No, they don't count.
No, not at all. But that was Thoughtless Bowl.
It was stupid fun. I mean, I got to heckle so many games. I got to show people how to throw teammates so many times.
Yep.
Sometimes that was the same people, but that's okay. That's exactly why we're there.
Exactly.
And it was just, there was so much silliness kicking along that it was like, I had fun. I played one game and then heckled the other 3 rounds and had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of day it was.
I had a wonderful day. Just doing the admin's easy enough to do. Wandering around, watching every single game apart from Lee's, because I'd get yelled away. I'm used to Lee now. I know not to look at any of Lee's dice rolls or any of his games.
Because then they're your fault.
Exactly.
What he hasn't worked out is his dice rolls are terrible when no one's watching. And his dice rolls are terrible when someone's watching.
No, yeah, I think he's aware of how bad his dice rolls are in general.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about Thoughtless Bowl?
That was fun.
It was fun. We should do another tournament soon.
We should consider that.
Yeah, let's think about it. We are about to run another league, though.
That is coming up thick and fast.
Yeah, so if you're in the Geelong area, we run a sevens league twice a year, roughly, on average.
I mean, and everything we do is roughly, let's be honest.
Yes, and very average. But this will be our 7th Thoughtless Sevens League. We are starting up Tuesday nights at the Seaview is generally where we'll play, but of course, if you can't make that, you're welcome to play wherever you want to play. It's one game a fortnight. Probably do 9 or 8 or 9 games in the season. But we start in about 2 weeks' time.
That's soon.
Yeah. So what did we say? Was it the 15th?
Mm.
Yeah, that sounds right. So 15th of July, we'll be starting up. Sign-ups are on now. You can find a link in our Discord. But the 6th season has finished.
Indeed.
We had 23 players all up for that one. And we went a different way this season. We have done multiple divisions in the past. That does tend to be a bit of an admin nightmare, especially when life gets in the way and teams drop out, and then all of a sudden you've got at least one team out in each division, and God help me making the games up. But 23 players. A breakdown of this. Surely there is.
We do. What are you looking for?
I'm wondering. This is all done through Tour Play, so there is a breakdown of the teams.
Yeah, there were 4 Black Blocks.
Yep.
There were 3 Lisbon.
Mm-hmm.
2 Imperial Nobility, Orc, Human, and Skaven.
Yep.
And then a smattering of stuff. Renegades, Khorne, Norse, Amazons, Ogres, Goblins, Underworld, Old World Alliance, Gnomes.
Mm-hmm. Good variety. Some fun teams in there too. Which is, this is what it's all about. We're all about having fun. It's not necessarily about who wins. It's about as long as you're having a good fun game with an opponent every 2 weeks. That's all we care about. I did offer up some prizes because we just had the one division. So we had prizes for best stunty team, and silver for a second stunty team. We had most injuries caused, not received, caused. And then we had first and second as well. So coins out for all of those. Incidentally, Jace, we might need to order some more coins because I think I'm down to the last one of each. But what I'll do, I'll quickly run through the standings as of the end of the season before we get into finals. So 23rd was Ghosties with Blackhawks. He only played one game though, so that's before he dropped out. It doesn't count. 22nd was Chad with Imperial Nobility. So he's gone from bottom of the league to top of the Thoughtless Bowl.
See what happens when you give him some goblins.
Yes, that's it. He was he'd given up on his team, I think, about halfway through. And he was just having fun. They were all all linemen in his team. And I think as many desperate measures as he could get, and that was about it. 21st, Lachlan with Blackhawks. 20th, Brad with Amazons. 19th was Pete with Blackhawks. 18th, Dill with Chaos Renegade. 17th, Oz with Blackhawks. 16th, Lewis with Goblins. 15th was yourself, Jace, with Khorne. You shake your head. That's better than last season for you, isn't it?
I know, but it was also a much more comfortable team to play.
What was last season? Gnomes, wasn't it?
Gnomes, yeah.
Yeah, no.
They were fucking terrible.
14th, Toby with Lizards. Not bad coming in for the first season. 13th, Anthony with Imperial Nobility. 12th, and the silver place for our stunties was Josh with his gnomes. 11th, Eric with humans. 10th was George with Underworlds. His Underworlds actually look quite nasty. I was scared of them. 9th, Yelv with Ogres. Top place stunty. 8th, Asenath with Orcs. 7th, Ant with Skaven. 6th was Liam with Lizards. 5th, Archie with Norse. I believe that Archie was 5th because he deliberately tried to get out of the semis. So I think his last game was a bit of a fun game. 4th, Moose with Old World Alliance. 3rd was Grank with Skaven. 2nd was Ryan with Lizards. And then 1st is unimportant.
Say it.
Myself with Orcs. That was not my intention. I will say absolutely straight away, I took 4 blitzers and eventually 4 linemen, and I just wanted to bash things.
The best possible orc team I could come up with.
But it was bashing. I wasn't really fussed about the ball, but the ball found its way into my hands, and I'm like, oh, I'll just walk this one in, and then I can do some more bashing. Yeah, so that was the state of the league itself. Any comments on your Khorne team?
Look, I maintain that they were solid, but my fucking God, things did not, when you just play a game and stuff doesn't go the way it's supposed to go?
Yeah, that was my Khorne season too, actually.
I got pitch cleared by goblins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just one of those seasons where stuff was just not going to happen for me, and that's cool. I still got to do frenzy things, but the murder did not ensue.
So you had 2 Bloodseekers, Bloodspawn, Khorne Gore.
Yeah, it was very...
That's stock standard.
Stock standard,
mm-hmm.
But also not getting some star player points early, not getting some skills early, not having any of the actual punchy skills on the punchy guys that do so much punching, tends to go south.
So your team value was 890. You've got Juggernaut on the Bloodspawn, block on one of the Bloodseekers, extra arms, 2 heads on the Khorne Gore. That sounds good. Kick on a Marauder, and then you've got a couple of random, so Shadowing, which is
exciting.
Yes, and Fend and Frenzy on a Marauder. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it was rough, but I mean, I lost a Bloodseeker pretty early on, so I had to rehire. And so only getting block on the one of them there was a lot of ass clenching.
Yep, I can understand that.
Yeah, Khorne literally MVP of every possible game that he was actually playing in because was out of a couple. And it got
That's
to the
it. The
end.
Khorne is a solid piece in a Khorne team because there's no frenzy. You've got Khorne so you can blitz when you need to.
Yeah. And the
But,
movement 6, does all the things. But no, it wasn't the season for them. And on the Orcs, I mean, you will talk about finals, but can I interject by saying I did love the reckless abandon that you played the regular season with. It's I am going to throw blocks, and they can be 2 dice, they can be 1 dice. I am throwing them regardless. Most of my things have block, or will have by the time I get them. The second half of that was how often you were willing and more than willing to go, I'm going to go for it to block you or to blitz you, because that's exactly what I'm doing. So go for a 1 dice blitz.
Yep.
Why the fuck did that work? That worked so much, but it worked and made me upset because
you didn't see all the times it didn't work.
No.
There was a lot of failed go for it. I'll say.
In our game, there was not a lot of failed go for it.
But with armor 10, not too fast.
I'm just going to get up next turn and do it again.
Yeah, exactly. No, I ended up. My team value was 960, which, if I just go quickly over here, believe it or not, was not the highest team value.
No.
Archie had 1,040,000. Anyway, my goal, like I said, I just wanted to punch things. So I had 4 blitzers with block and 4 linemen. By the end of the season, I got block on all of the linemen, and I got mighty blow on all of the blitzers. I just went, I want to bash more stuff. I did have tackle on one of the blitzers as well, and strip ball on another. By the strip ball, I think was the last one I got. But yeah, the goal was just to bash things.
Turns out it seems to work. When there's only 7 players on the pitch and you remove 1 or 2, shit snowballs.
My goal was to do as many injuries as possible, and when we come down to injury, most beast, I was 5th. I was very disappointed with that. The Goblins beat me.
I mean, most of them was my team, if that helps.
No, not really. Anyway. So that was at the end of 8 games. We go into finals. I think so. In the last round, I played Moose with his Old World Alliance and got a 1-1 draw. What was the other one I was looking at? Archie. Where's Archie? Archie lost 1-0 to Dylan after giving Dylan an extra big guy, mercenary, and a desperate measures. And Moose messaged during the week before our game. He's like, I'm like 10k short of getting 4 desperate measures. I'm like, I can fix that. I think I bought an assistant coach to get me up, give him the 4th desperate measure. Going into finals. Now I'm clicking back. Here we go. So we had first place 4th, which is myself and Moose again. And then second place 3rd, which was Ryan's Lizards playing Grank Skaven. That was a game where nothing went right for Grank, I don't think.
No.
3-1 to the Lizards. Just a big quick look. So, 1 injury. The gutter runner was killed less than halfway through the game. And I think that probably had a big effect on the game.
Can't say I'm angry about it.
No. I mean, that's what they're for. Gutter runners, they're there to score touchdowns and to die.
Hopefully more of the second option than the first.
No, I don't. I like Skaven. I really like Skaven. I should play them, but last time I played them, I played against an orc team, and yeah, I lost half my team that game, and I haven't played them since. But I love them, so I should play them again.
But you know what you have played? Orcs.
Yes.
I played against orcs, and they murdered all my team, so I did this.
True. In my game against Moose, he played perfectly. He played absolutely perfectly. I couldn't land a trick in this game. So not to take anything away from Moose, he absolutely played 100% of a game, came away with the win 1-0. It didn't even look like I was going to score.
And look, I have to say, from someone who was there to play meme level Blood Bowl for 90% of the time, picked up the Old World Alliance and even picked up Humans recently, and has just gone, oh no, I can play Blood Bowl. I just choose to do stupid shit.
He has a lot of fun in every game.
He has absolute blast regardless. He is so good to play. But just, you know, I think he's been one of the players kicking around the league for the last however long that's been playing Ogres like relatively solidly with no interest in actually playing real Blood Bowl. It's just how many things can I throw and kick and stuff. And then you give him a team and he does this.
Moose knows how to play. And yeah, like there was this season, he won Cheeky V last year playing Dwarves. And even with his Ogres, like I still remember that game. It was he got to the semi-finals and was coaching Alice how best to beat him, which she then turned around and did. But still, you know, got to the finals with Ogres. So did one better here, went to the grand final with Old World Alliance, playing against the Lizards. And I think the Lizards' luck ran out, so Moose taking it away 2-1.
There was a moment at the start of that game.
Yes, I see it.
When they realised that they still had treasury.
And this was the last game of the season.
And there was no point in keeping this treasury.
No.
And so you know what we could do? We could buy inducements and we could buy all of the desperate measures. And you know what that will do is that will give you just enough petty cash for you to buy all of the desperate measures. And then all of a sudden, there's five desperate measures and a keg and an assistant coach.
For both teams. They both had enough money to do all of that. And yeah, 2-1 to Moose in the end.
It was savage. I watched most of that game and it was glorious. It was just... And again, it was finals, but it was finals with stupidity because they were reminding each other of desperate measures. They were... You know, it was such a fun game to watch where they were both having a blast. Like they went into finals with that attitude and it just played out the whole game. And whoever won. And
Moose, this is what I love about our leagues.
Yeah.
It is full of people who know that Blood Bowl is not one to take seriously. You go, you have a bit of fun. You might win, you might lose. Who really cares?
And nobody does, but congrats to Moose for taking it out. Congrats to Ryan for being in his first finals and getting all the way through. That was huge.
Yep. And Cody getting there as well.
And that's only his second league, I think, with us.
So, potentially.
I think both him and Ryan, maybe. So, yeah. Keeping goals.
That's it. So, if you're interested in joining in the fun and hilarity that will be, we are taking sign-ups now. We've got 13 people signed up so far, including Yelf signed up twice.
Can I just say I only signed up once so far?
I know. This is so unlike you. You had like 16 teams last season before we started, didn't you?
I couldn't decide, but I think I'm relatively committed to a terrible life choice.
Yep. Yep. I see your life choice and I agree. I've just noticed that Ant's filled in the rest of his team, so I'm checking it out to see how different mine is to his.
I see what's happened here.
Not by much. Very similar teams. Yeah, no, it's going to be a bit of fun. We've got we've got one person signed up for their very first season with us. And then, a couple coming back that haven't played very much. Asenath's there, Ryan's there. We've got some old hands like Moose and Jason, Liam, Ant, Dill. It's going to be a good season.
They are literally always good seasons.
Yeah.
If you are keen, if you want to sneak in a couple of games beforehand, try out a team, learn how to play, whatever it is, just hit us up. Always happy to do that. But it is so casual. We have had people literally play their first or second game in league. We just make sure that they're matched with someone who's happy to show them how to do it, and off you roll. And all of the games are like that. That is the most fun thing about it. Regular games, excellent humans. It's the best. Yeah. And they only take like an hour once you get the hang of it.
Yeah, it's not a long game. And I promise I'm not playing Orcs this season. I'm not going to bash everyone. I mean, I am going to try to bash everyone, but it's going to be a totally different way.
You and me both.
Excellent. All right. Is it time for...
It might be time.
Love it. What do you got for us, Jace?
I mean, this again, I feel like we have to go through at some point the classics, the universal things that divide us as a society. There's East Berlin, there's West Berlin, there's North Korea, there's South Korea. There is Coke and Pepsi.
Coke and Pepsi. All right. Right. So I'm diabetic. So before I became diabetic, I was a Coke person, through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I became diabetic, I started drinking Coke Zero.
Mm-hmm.
And I have come to the conclusion that Coke Zero sucks. Pepsi Max is where it's at. Which is ironic because when I was when I wasn't diabetic, before I, let my sweet tooth get away from me, I could not drink Pepsi Max. I couldn't stomach it. But now it's all I can drink. So roundabout way, Pepsi Max.
Well, you see, you say that. But actually what I heard was, in a world when I have a choice, I would choose anything but Pepsi. But since I don't...
There's also the part of me, especially when I was living alone, my choice between Coke or Pepsi was whatever was on special at the supermarket.
No, yeah, that's also a thing. I mean, it's not, because I am that person that will go to a restaurant and will order a Coke, and they will say, we have Pepsi, is that okay? No, it's not okay. I will have I'll just drink out of the toilet. So that's generally my approach to that. I can probably order something else from the drinks menu. The lovely people that make Pepsi make other things that I'm sure are palatable. Mountain Dew, or something. I don't know.
Crab juice.
Yeah.
We have crab juice and Mountain Dew. Ew. Give me the crab juice.
So Coke is the right answer. You're correct, and I'm sorry for your loss and the medical world that you live in.
Well. So I mean, I get half points with you for once.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. What's on we have a giveaway which will be going until the end of July. It's up on Facebook as we speak. We are giving something back to our very first sponsor. Guys that came completely out of the blue to us.
Which is the way I prefer it. Feel free, if you're listening, to do exactly that. Continue.
Yep. And Gaming Arena in Coburg, even before the store was set up, they contacted us and asked if we wanted some prize support for one of our tournaments. And to be quite honest, I didn't know that we could do that. Prize support? I mean, we've gone so long paying for bits and pieces ourselves, and
it felt like we were cheating on somebody, but we're not. It didn't feel like, but it wasn't like we were cheating on somebody because there was no one to cheat on. It just felt like we were doing something wrong because we'd never done it before.
Yes.
It's like the first time you claim something on your taxes that you never knew you could claim.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, are we going to get in trouble? But no, it turns out it's legit and everyone else is doing it and we're just late to the party.
Yep. And they were absolutely lovely, and, I went and picked them up. And did I pick them up? No, the first one, they brought them along. We used them again another tournament, and then we've deliberately not asked them again because we feel guilty. But
guilty soothing.
Yeah, they are fantastic people. They've got an amazing store.
Such a good store out there.
So
they hold so many events. Like, if you're interested in playing a game of any description, they probably have a learn to play, a league, a slow grow, a tournament, whatever. They're doing a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And an absolute beautiful space to do it in. But we are giving back, trying to give back to them. They're also were the ones that said, hey, we're happy for you to do this, but why don't we give you two? So we are offering either a Kill Team mat or a Blood Bowl mat or equivalent off their website. Pretty simple, tag somebody, say which one you like the look of. Make sure you're following them as well.
Simples.
Yeah.
But, it's something for nothing. It is.
Literally.
It is
5 seconds of your time.
A wonderful venue. It's, I know it's associating with us, and I'm sorry for that minor part of it. But beyond that, they're pretty mats.
They are beautiful mats. And we're going to draw at the end of July. It'll close at the end of July. Early August, I will draw not one, but two winners. Which is awesome.
Love it. I love it when we have two wieners.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I can't do it.
He was going to do the sound effects.
I know, but I didn't have it lined up.
That's fine. There it is.
There it is. Okay. Took me a little while to get there. That's currently going on Facebook, so just jump on there and do the aforementioned steps. Any Patreons, because they're helping to pay for such things as these mats, will get extra entries according to their level as long as they enter. If they don't enter, they get no extra.
We assume that they definitely do not want it and want nothing to be part of it.
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's about it. You got anything else you want to say?
That is all of the things I know that are happening.
Yep. Stay tuned for an announcement regarding a certain Blood Bowl Sevens tournament towards the end of the year, which may or may not be serious.
Why?
Yeah. I can't work out any way of getting a show in. Did you like what I did with the Facebook post today?
I almost contacted you to ask whether we'd been hacked.
I'm trying to be subtle, but as far as I can tell, it's not subtle at all. Why So Serious 4 is coming. It'll be later on this year. We're just locking down details before we give the announcement. So that'll go up shortly on Facebook in the next week or two, I would say. As always, give us a follow. Facebook, Spotify, Podbean, Twitch. Give us a like. Give us a comment on one of those platforms, which might help. If the algorithms are what people tell me they are, that'll help get our name out a little bit more, which is fantastic.
They say any advertising, good advertising, just report us to admins. I don't know. I think that helps.
Yeah. Certainly get somebody else paying attention to it.
Exactly.
Report us to YouTube for nudity. Then I'll have to watch the whole episode where there is no video at all. And that'll boost the ratings.
I'll cut one scene into it, just full frontal. It'll be fine. Like one frame.
Yes. Beautiful. I love it. As always, thank you to our Patreons who help us put on these sort of competitions. Thank you, as always, to our Thoughtless Patreons, Alice, Archie, Clinton, Craig, Gertzie, Jared, Kingsley, and Yuri. You guys are awesome and insane in equal measures.
But you knew that.
Yeah. Until next time, later.
Gotcha.